Well, it's Friday the 15th of November. Mars enters Scorpio on the 18th until January 2020, teaming up with Mercury in retrograde, who stations direct on Wednesday the 20th. Together, they become the private investigators Nero Wolfe and Archie Goodwin of the Imaginal. This is episode 1933 of 301 Permanently Moved, a personal podcast 301 seconds in length, written, recorded and edited in 1 hour by me, at the JMO. It's that time of year again, NaNoWriMo. This year has seen me writing one essay a day, using essay titles as prompt that I've collected throughout the year. Some are podcast ideas that never made it, others are chapters from an unfinished book. Some are chapters from a finished book that I'm attempting to rewrite. Sitting down and breaking the back of each essay with 1600 words is really satisfying. It might not be any good, but at least I've taken an idea from nothing to something. It is something that I have to do every week as part of making this show, but doing one a day has been far more challenging. Last week, we spoke of temporary, total institutions, which led to an exchange with Sam Hart, decentralized web researcher and strategist. We spoke on how the whole prototyping the consensus process, ideation, discussion, amendment, voting, etc. of an organization is much more interesting design space for small organizations than anything that touches the blockchain. He went on to say on Twitter that rapid prototyping of organizational decision-making processes can literally be done on a whiteboard, paper prototype, or an instant messaging channel. It's insane that teams spend years building an end-to-end crypto project management app, or DAO, before they test out the most important part. The fast prototyping of the functions and social roles within an organization is something that I'm really interested in professionally as a consultant and context broker. Ping me via thejmo.net if you're interested in working with me. So anyways, keeping this similar theme going for another week, I'd like to talk about organisational memory. It's 2019 and the influence of James C. Scott's 1998 book, Seeing Like a State, cannot be ignored. I found that it's important to restate its central thesis at every opportunity, as lots of people have never even heard of the book, let alone legibility, but are aware of its implications, especially in the business world. Seeing Like a State is about the emergence of modern states and their bureaucratic assumptions. It charts the multi-century-long process in which states reorganise societies that they govern, to make them more legible to the apparatus of governance. The same thing can be seen when we talk of the stacks. See my 2014 Theorizing the Web talk, Colonizing the Clouds. Platforms influence user behavior to make them more legible to the central database that the algorithmic processing platform employs upon it. In many ways, we can now call Scott's apparatus of government the platform. Previously, we would have referred to ledgers, the census, tax bills, etc., but it's now 2019 and we are in the networked age. A central database sits at the heart of all institutions. And whilst these are, of course, multi-table relational database management systems, unless we're talking about the blockchain, an organization's database is as much a slow-moving behemoth as the Library of Ashburnipal, and just as disinclined to change. These monoliths can be self-built web platforms or bought in like an Oracle CRM or Salesforce. Many people have covered the idea of the central database inside a techno-social system defining an organization's reality. I will boil all of their work down to the following statement. If it's not in the database, it doesn't exist. This is what it means to see like a stack. If the database can't see something, it's not part of its reality. It's not to say, however, that institutions don't remember things outside of the database, it just can't see it. So then, inside any institution, there are 5 kinds of memory. The first we have already mentioned. Database memory, the sum total of the institution's reality. The second is the classic institutional memory, tacit memory that is shared between employees or participants in the organization, the kind of memory that requires an ongoing transmission of ideas, values, or ideology between members of the group. The next is my first novel description of organizational memory, desk memory. Desk memory is the strange moving horizon of what the company is supposed to remember right now. As a participant in an institution, you need to look up how to do something, and this can be found in the knowledge base, process documentation, or manuals. Desk memory is only the information that an organization is required to remember to support the correct functioning and quality of its database memory. What folks call a learning organization is the habit or culture of turning institutional memory into desk memory. If one employee asks another how to do something, this should be written down and documented for future reference, as it will undoubtedly get asked by someone else. Downstream updates are also incorporated into FAQs or training manuals, etc. In many institutions, you will find legacy systems. Consider Microsoft's extended support for Windows XP, an operating system first launched in 2001, whose official support lasted 18 years and ended January 2019. Drawer memory. These are old manuals and how-tos that document bits of software, processes and procedures that employees keep in their drawers. Obviously or effectively useless from the point of view of the company's desk memory, but it still hangs around as someone is required to know how something worked or operated in the past. My last novel proposal comes via my good friend Alex Fredera, working memory, a kind of leading edge memory that everyone is always expected to remember in the present moment. E.g., we are supposed to be seen as trusted advisors by our customers. Yes, the merger is going well, with a few expected speed bumps, or my department might be merging,